and that it's holding up progression.
Without a shadow of a doubt, the changes that we are seeing with electric vehicles and increasing levels of automation, the point at which we eventually have driverless cars, are absolutely happening. This is inevitable. This is going to happen, and it will happen in our lifetimes.
In the future, our vehicles will be self-driving. I think that will be beneficial for all. I think maybe the question is how long it will take, but it will definitely happen. It's important that we bring the public with us and that we get acceptance and trust. The main benefit is around safety. 1,500 to 2,000 people die on the roads, and over 90% of errors are down to humans. If we take away human error, we can have a huge impact. I think in the future, what we will see is all modes of transport linked. We'll actually see us being able to buy a journey to get from home to anywhere, and we may be moving away from purchasing cars to actually purchasing journeys.
Until recently, it was difficult to put enough batteries into the space in a car to give the range that customers wanted. The problem now is that the cost of those batteries is too high. Over the last 8 years, the costs have come down by a factor of 5. Most charging will happen at home, so you only need these central charging depots for trunking of long journeys, or if you don't have access to off-street parking. Petrol and diesel cars will have to become a bit more expensive. At the same time, electric cars are getting much cheaper.
The technology is changing much faster than public attitudes. The cars that I'm driving now all have a 250 to 350 mile range. The most economic petrol or diesel car is costing about between 12 and 15 pence a mile. An electric car is between 1 and 3 pence a mile. I'd say 2025 we'll start to see a really big uptake. It's around then that the cost of buying a new electric car will have parity with a combustion engine car.
We are trying to build autonomous vehicles that will be connected to one another, to infrastructure, to the Internet of Things. The trust issue is paramount. How do I know that this car is going to drive me there safely? How can I trust that a cyber hacker isn't going to steer me off the road? The distrust is not just in the technology, it's about the whole system and what the implications are. It forces us to ask that question, actually, what do we gain compared to what do we lose? I think there's enormous potential for good at an individual human level, at a community level, at an equality level, and there are potential safety gains and there are potential efficiency, congestion, productivity gains.
A lot of people say there's going to be a revolution in transport. I think that's happening now. Milton Keynes can act as an urban laboratory. We've developed a network of 2,500 sensors. These sensors have the capability of counting everything that moves. And from that information, learning what happens on the network. The Starship robots, they've been really eye-opener about the benefits they're bringing to the city. This operation is now delivering 50,000 deliveries a year. The popularity of this technology is absolutely astounded me.
What will happen is that this will be an argument less about cars as objects and more about data. You can really imagine data becoming the new currency for transport. We do seem to be at the moment sleepwalking our way into a self-driving future. If we pretend that it's inevitable, we end up making some very bad decisions. The assumption among many of the people developing the technology is if people disagree with the future that they're imagining, it's because they don't understand the technology. Quite often with new technologies, we wait until a catastrophe happens to ask those questions.
Driverless cars have been on the horizon for a long time, and it's one of these technologies, a bit like jetpacks and flying cars, that's always just around the corner, but it hasn't quite arrived yet. And while there is a plentiful supply of human drivers, I can't see the economic advantages. Cars are sold these days on the basis that they are fun to drive. It's an emotional experience to get in and drive them. If you give that over to a machine, then the car becomes no more than any other electrical appliance. It's like a washing machine or a fridge on wheels. I mean, it's a sad future to leave to our children that they can't actually get into a car, get behind the wheel and enjoy the driving experience.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful. But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.